Imagine waking up to the news that the world's most iconic farming brand, John Deere, just entered the pickup truck war. Not with some overpriced luxury EV, but with a $20,000 powerhouse that's threatening to blow up the entire US truck market. Yeah, you heard that right, $20,000. The same company that built its legacy on tractors and heavy-duty machines just dropped a bombshell that Ford, Chevy, and Ram did not see coming. So, what exactly did John Deere just do? The company quietly unveiled a compact, full-size hybrid pickup prototype built on an all-new modular chassis that's designed to combine farm-grade durability with modern utility. It's not flashy, it's not loaded with unnecessary tech gimmicks, but it's built like a tank with a focus on affordability, repairability, and insane torque for both work and play. According to leaked internal documents, this pickup will feature a 2.0-liter hybrid diesel-electric system capable of delivering up to 400 miles of range and the ability to tow up to 6,000 pounds, all while costing less than half of what an F-150 or Silverado currently sells for. Now let's talk about the price because this is where things get wild. The expected MSRP, just under $20,000. That's not a typo. While Ford and GM are struggling to convince buyers to spend $60,000 or more on trucks, John Deere is flipping the entire script by returning to what buyers actually want: a tough, affordable, no-nonsense pickup that works as hard as they do. This is the pickup for farmers, ranchers, small business owners, and rural Americans who've been priced out of the truck market for years. But why launch this now? According to industry insiders, John Deere's move isn't random. It's strategic. The pickup truck market is on the verge of collapse. Inventories are piling up. Dealers are drowning in unsold stock. Prices have hit historic highs and consumer confidence is at record lows. John Deere saw an opening, a chance to offer something real while the big automakers are busy chasing luxury margins and EV fantasies. In other words, Deere just saw Ford's weakness, Chevy's arrogance, and Ram's confusion, and they went straight for the jugular. The reaction from buyers has been explosive. Forums are lighting up. Farmers, tradesmen, and off-road enthusiasts are calling this the people's truck. Pre-order interest has reportedly exceeded expectations by more than 300% in the first 48 hours since the announcement. Social media is flooded with comments like, "Finally, a truck that isn't built for Wall Street." For millions of Americans who've watched the pickup market drift away from working-class reality, this feels like a revolution. And the impact on dealerships? Oh, it's panic mode. Ford and Chevy dealers are terrified. They're already struggling to clear out last year's models, offering record discounts just to stay afloat. If John Deere follows through and actually delivers a $20,000 truck with real towing capacity and hybrid reliability, we could be looking at a price war unlike anything the US auto industry has seen in decades. Dealerships that used to laugh off John Deere as just a farm brand are suddenly realizing that the green and yellow giant might just eat their lunch and their profits in one clean bite. And the impact on prices across the industry? It's already starting. Analysts say Ford and GM might be forced to slash prices by 15 to 20% just to compete. That's billions of dollars in lost margins. All because a company that's been building tractors for 180 years decided to show Detroit how it's done. But here's where things get even more shocking. Deere's manufacturing model is fundamentally different. Instead of massive centralized plants, they're planning regional assembly hubs that can produce parts locally, cutting logistics costs and undercutting traditional automakers on production efficiency. This means they can maintain that $20,000 price tag and still profit. And here's where things start to get really interesting. Industry insiders are whispering that John Deere's new pickup isn't just a one-off experiment. It's the start of a multi-vehicle strategy that could completely rewrite how Americans think about trucks. Sources close to the project claim this model is part of Deere's long-term vision called Project Iron Ridge, a plan to merge their agricultural engineering roots with everyday mobility. The idea? Create a new class of affordable, self-repairable, hybrid-powered vehicles built specifically for real-world use, not showroom aesthetics. Early test units reportedly use a reinforced aluminum steel frame with modular panels that can be swapped out with basic tools, meaning no more $1,000 body repair bills for a dented fender. And under the hood? Deere engineers are testing a dual-mode hybrid system that automatically switches between diesel power and electric assist depending on the load and terrain. This setup isn't about luxury or speed. It's about efficiency and raw utility. Imagine pulling a trailer through rough country roads and watching your powertrain intelligently optimize torque and fuel consumption in real time. Meanwhile, Detroit's response has been nervous. Ford and GM executives are reportedly holding emergency meetings to analyze the threat. The auto giants are used to competing with each other, but not with a company that's never played by their rules. Deere doesn't have a dealer network bloated with markups and advertising costs. They've got farm supply chains, equipment service centers, and loyal rural customers who already trust the brand more than any automaker. That's a massive head start. If Deere leverages those connections to sell trucks directly through their existing infrastructure, traditional dealerships could be staring down massive sales losses within months of launch. And think about the psychological shift this could cause among buyers. For decades, truck culture has been dominated by brand loyalty. Ford tough, like a rock, built to serve. But John Deere's entry changes that narrative entirely. Suddenly, people who never cared about truck badges are paying attention because this is something authentic. It's not marketing, it's a company that's been building machines for real workers since the 1800s. If Ford and GM were the kings of the highway, Deere is about to become the king of the countryside. Then there's the ripple effect this could create across pricing structures. When word got out that Deere's pickup might retail under $20,000, analysts started recalculating everything, from the used truck market to financing rates. If a brand new American-made hybrid pickup can sell for less than the average used F-150, what happens to used prices? They'll crash. Hard. Dealers sitting on thousands of used trucks are about to face massive write-downs, while consumers, finally, might see the first real drop in truck prices in over a decade. But that's not the only thing Deere might shake up. Insiders claim the company is exploring subscription-free vehicle software, meaning no more paying monthly fees to use features your truck already came with. That's a direct jab at Ford's and GM's new monetization models. If Deere keeps its vehicles open source and repairable, true to its right-to-repair ethos, it could spark a full-blown consumer rebellion against the software-locked vehicles dominating the market today. And yet, the question remains, how far will Deere go? Will this new pickup truly hit the market at $20,000? Or is this just the calm before a storm that could either save or destroy America's entire truck industry? Because if John Deere actually delivers on its promise, we're not just talking about a new competitor. We're talking about a revolution that could reset everything we thought we knew about American manufacturing, pricing, and power. But things are about to take an even more unexpected turn, because leaked reports suggest that John Deere's partnerships go far deeper than anyone imagined. Quiet whispers from industry insiders claim that Deere has been in confidential talks with several Asian battery suppliers and low-cost chassis manufacturers, including firms from Thailand and Vietnam, to integrate modular EV and hybrid systems into future truck models. That means this isn't just about one $20,000 pickup. It's about building an entirely new category of affordable utility-focused vehicles that could undercut every major automaker in the US. And here's where the shockwaves start to ripple even further. Remember when Tesla promised an affordable EV truck and never delivered? Well, Deere might be the one that actually does it. And they're doing it without the hype, the gimmicks, or the Silicon Valley arrogance. Instead, they're pulling from decades of experience, designing engines that survive brutal field conditions, mud, snow, and 16-hour workdays. Deere's engineers understand what durability really means. And that's exactly why this launch is terrifying the competition. Insiders close to the company say Deere's pilot production run will begin in the Midwest, near Waterloo, Iowa, a symbolic location where the brand's history began. The first few thousand units are expected to go exclusively to existing Deere customers, farmers, construction companies, and local governments, before hitting the consumer market later next year. This strategy isn't random. It's a calculated rollout to build word-of-mouth credibility among real working people before going national. Once those early adopters start posting real-world reviews, you can bet social media will explode. Now let's talk about the supply chain strategy, because this is where John Deere may have completely outsmarted the Detroit Giants. While Ford and GM rely on global shipping routes that have been crippled by tariffs and logistical chaos, Deere is reportedly sourcing over 70% of parts domestically through its existing North American supplier network. Translation? They're avoiding the massive import costs that have been eating away at other automakers' profits. This gives them room to price the truck low and still make money, while everyone else is stuck raising prices just to stay afloat. And the reaction inside the boardrooms of Ford, GM, and Stellantis? Let's just say panic doesn't even begin to describe it. Sources say internal memos from these automakers are already warning dealerships to prepare for pricing adjustments and aggressive incentive strategies if Deere's truck gains traction. That's corporate code for we might have to drop our prices fast. Imagine that John Deere, the tractor brand, forcing America's biggest automakers into a price war they never saw coming. But it's not just the corporations that are nervous. Dealers themselves are starting to speak out privately, saying Deere's move could completely destroy the traditional dealership model. If Deere sells directly through its existing equipment network, many of which are already set up for heavy-duty service and parts, truck buyers might never step foot in a traditional car dealership again. No middlemen, no markups, no nonsense. Meanwhile, customers are celebrating. The online buzz is nothing short of electric. On Reddit, one user wrote, "If John Deere actually sells a truck for $20,000, I'm trading in my Silverado tomorrow." Another said, "Deere just did what Ford, GM, and Ram couldn't. Make a truck for real people again." The sentiment is clear. Buyers are ready for change, and John Deere just gave them hope. But the most shocking part? Deere might not stop at trucks. There are rumors, and I mean serious, credible whispers, that the company's R&D division is developing a family-sized SUV and even a plug-in work van, both built on the same hybrid platform as the pickup. If that's true, Deere isn't just entering the truck market, they're declaring war on the entire auto industry. And that's when everything, from pricing structures to dealership networks to manufacturing strategies, could start collapsing like dominoes. Because if John Deere can prove that a $20,000 pickup is possible, then every automaker charging $60,000 or more for a base model truck is going to have a lot of explaining to do. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The twist that could flip the entire conversation on its head. John Deere's new pickup might not even be fully owned by John Deere. According to multiple insider leaks, the project is part of a joint venture with an unnamed Asian automaker, possibly one with expertise in compact truck platforms and hybrid technology. The rumor mill points to BYD and Isuzu as potential partners, but nothing has been confirmed. What is clear is that this partnership would give Deere instant access to advanced hybrid systems and low-cost production methods, allowing them to do what Ford, GM, and Ram can't: deliver a powerful, efficient pickup for under $20,000 and still turn a profit. And here's where it gets even wilder. Deere's prototype isn't built in the traditional way. Early reports suggest they're experimenting with bolt-on modular frames that can be assembled using standardized components, meaning one factory could switch from building trucks to SUVs or utility vans in weeks, not months. That's a nightmare scenario for Detroit's traditional automakers who rely on massive, inflexible plants that cost billions to retool. Deere's flexible model could outproduce and outsell its competitors before they even realize what happened. Financial analysts are already warning investors that this could trigger a price disruption wave. If Deere truly launches a $20,000 pickup, it sets a new psychological baseline for the entire industry. Consumers will no longer see $50,000 as normal. Suddenly, the $19,995 figure becomes the new standard, and everything else starts to look like a scam. Ford's $45,000 Rangers, GM's $50,000 Colorados, Ram's $60,000 Rebels, all of them become overpriced relics overnight. Meanwhile, the rural economy, the very market the big automakers have ignored, is rallying behind Deere. Small towns across the Midwest and South are buzzing with excitement. Local dealers are already getting calls from longtime farmers asking, "When can I get one?" For decades, these buyers have watched as trucks became luxury toys for city dwellers, loaded with touchscreens and payment plans that rival mortgages. Deere's move feels like a homecoming, a truck built for working people by the company that never forgot them. But make no mistake, yes, this launch isn't without controversy. Critics are already raising eyebrows, questioning whether Deere can meet safety standards, emissions requirements, and modern tech expectations at such a low price. Some skeptics call it too good to be true, while others believe this is just Deere's opening move, a shock introduction meant to test market reaction before rolling out a wider lineup. Yet every rumor, every leak, and every quote from inside Deere suggests one thing. This isn't a gimmick. This is a strategic disruption, a deliberate attempt to bring the truck market back down to earth. And it's working. Just days after the news broke, shares of major truck manufacturers took noticeable hits. Ford's stock dipped, GM's market cap slid, and even Toyota, with its reliable Tacoma, reportedly held internal meetings about competitive response strategies. The fear is palpable. Deere, a company that's never sold a road-legal pickup before, is suddenly being viewed as the biggest threat to the U.S. truck hierarchy in 50 years. But there's one part of this story that hasn't hit the headlines yet. And when it does, it could send the entire industry into panic mode. Because according to confidential supplier documents, Deere might have one more ace up its sleeve. A fully electric variant of this pickup that could debut as soon as next year. And this is where everything starts to spiral out of control. The leaked specs for that electric variant are absolutely jaw-dropping, if they're real. Reports suggest John Deere's EV pickup could deliver up to 600 kilometers, around 370 miles, of range using a solid-state battery pack, supplied through a new partnership with a next-gen energy firm out of South Korea. Now here's the wild part. Deere isn't planning to market this as a flashy Tesla rival. Instead, they're branding it as the Work EV, a rugged, utilitarian electric truck built for farms, small contractors, and rural communities, where reliability matters more than luxury. If true, this could be a nightmare scenario for both Detroit and Silicon Valley automakers. While companies like Rivian and Tesla have poured billions into making futuristic, high-cost trucks that few can afford, Deere is going the opposite route. An affordable, durable electric pickup that starts under $30,000. That's half the price of a Cybertruck or F-150 Lightning. Deere's message is simple but devastating. You don't need a luxury EV to get real work done. But the real shocker, Deere might already have the infrastructure advantage no one saw coming. Their global network of service centers, from farm equipment shops to local dealerships, is already trained to handle high-voltage systems and heavy-duty machinery. Unlike traditional automakers scrambling to set up new EV service operations, Deere could roll out repairs, charging solutions, and parts through a network that's already in place. That's like skipping 5 years of logistics overnight. Meanwhile, inside Detroit, tensions are boiling. One leaked memo from a Ford regional office reportedly said, "John Deere entering the light truck market at this price point could destabilize our rural sales base permanently." GM is said to be exploring emergency incentives to push Silverado sales before Deere's official release date. Even Stellantis, which has struggled to maintain its Ram dominance, is rumored to be in crisis meetings about product repositioning. The sense of panic is real, because they know Deere's move is not just a gimmick. It's a paradigm shift, and the timing couldn't be more brutal. The truck market right now is fragile. Inventories are overflowing, consumers are cautious, and price fatigue has hit every corner of the industry. Ford, Chevy, and Ram are offering record discounts, just to move metal, while dealerships are sitting on unsold inventory. Into that chaos walks John Deere, cool, calculated, and armed with a product that costs one-third as much and does exactly what buyers need it to do. It's like dropping a grenade in the middle of a market already on fire. But behind the scenes, Deere's strategy runs even deeper. Sources say the company is preparing to bundle its vehicles with agricultural tech, offering discounts to customers who already own Deere tractors or equipment. Imagine being a farmer and getting $2,000 off your new truck because your tractor shares the same software ecosystem. That's genius. And no traditional automaker can compete with that kind of vertical integration. Deere isn't just selling vehicles, they're selling a complete ecosystem of tools for work, farming, and transport, all connected through one unified platform. And as news of this spreads, the public response is going into overdrive. Social media is flooded with excitement and disbelief.